restart the stream here real quick, as it was not live, but it looks like it is. Looks like the stream is now finally coming back on for everybody, as we were talking the entire time here, and all for nothing, apparently. Well, we are back here live. We had a couple incidents early on, and we'll take a look back here in a second as we're looking at the battle right now for the lead overall. Colin Winslow had the pole here tonight. Craig Jancic starting in second. Silviani Madrigal started fourth, but he is past Marco Ciccone, who is now in fourth. And you see Silviani Madrigal trying to get up there and get in the mix of this battle, as we see Winslow and Jancic seemingly every week, other than when Winslow joined us up in the booth up here. They've been pretty much battling each other all season so far. Good battle here, but we'll take you back real quick to the beginning of this race, and we had some calamity right from the rip, right in the first couple corners here. And you'll take a look at that unicorn Mustang right there, and you see 33 cars out here tonight, and there's room to go 3 wide here. There's room to fit all these cars in here, but one little bump, and you see right there, Dutton just drifts out a little bit, catches the inside there of the 24, and loops it around, facing backwards, and then that's where some other incidents happen. You see Jim Herrick getting involved right there on the right-hand side. Brandon Potts going through the grass. And then a little bit later in this lap, Bryce Reiner had a bit of a spin here as well. Go to the inside, and not sure if he just clipped the curb wrong or what the case is, but that Lambo just steps right out. John Nobier goes to the outside to try and avoid him, spins out as well.
Wow, that was slight contact, but it ripped the whole bumper off.
Here, Nick Russell gets a short end of the stick on this one here, as he gets shot into the wall hard. Jim Herrick ended up losing his rear spoiler on the beginning of the lap, and you know, in the first incident there, so he ended up towing it back to the pits, and his night looked to be over before it even started. I mean, you see that thing just not handling well. He had to tow it back to the pits. Looks like he's back out there on the track right now, but obviously in the back of the field. But we'll get it back live now and get you back up to speed, as Colin Winslow is leading this thing. Craig Jancic, Silviani Madrigal, Marco Ciccone, and Chris Hamilton, your top 5. Nicholas Coe started in 6th place overall, and he is leading right now in the M class. And Joe, I mean, if you want to just double check and just make sure Nicholas Coe should be in the amateur class, because, man, I mean, this is a heck of a qualifying effort, a heck of a job right now, running 7th place overall. The next position in the M class, 2nd place, Randy Ayers in 14th position overall. So 7 cars in between 1st and 2nd in the M class. So Randy Ayers is going to be in 2nd, Brandon Potts, Brennan DeLima, and Jason Potts going to be your top 5 for the M class. But beautiful track here at Sao Paulo, as we discussed in the pre-race that you guys just didn't hear at all. It's you got one long straightaway, what I consider a straightaway. It's got a couple kinks in it from turn 12 all the way to turn number 1. But it is just flat out. It is just pure speed. And then you get to this infield right here that we're looking at right now, and it is all about flow, all about keeping that speed up as much as possible and getting that power down as much as you can, and really utilizing every bit of the track, and maybe going off in different lines that you would think, you know, would be the typical lines to make sure that you're really setting up the next corner that you're coming up to. But Joe, it's not just a great track. It's got some great views as well, as you mentioned.
Yeah, like I was saying in the opening there, I instantly fell in love with this track. I mean, I got a couple laps in here today, and man, I'm a sucker for views, and this track has them. Like you said, I would probably be a weapon out here, because I would get lost in some of the views, the skylines that this track offers here, and the track is fun. It's nice. I mean, go fast, turn left. I mean, that's my cup of tea right there, right? So, and this track has that with this long straightaway that you mentioned here. Let's go see Colin and Craig get to it here shortly. But man, what a fun little track. And I know you kind of like it as well. So I'm excited to see a race here tonight. And with these guys here, I mean, you know it's going to be a show.
Yeah, I mean, like I again mentioned that you guys didn't hear, it's a track that I don't necessarily know if I've won anything in officials or even in league racing at this track, but it's one that I've always kind of enjoyed, whether it's here on iRacing, whether it's in you know, Formula One games or what have you. It's a fun track because it really is. It's just fast. I mean, it's one of the, what I consider one of the faster road courses that are out there. It's sure it's technical in the infield, but it's still all about trying to be really fast and making your way back and forth all the way through that infield. But you see right there, coming out of the final, what I consider the final corner in turn number 12, you get a couple kinks going through the front stretch, but you see it is a drafter's dream. And you see Craig Jansen pulling up on Colin Winslow. It feels like lap after lap. He makes his run into turn number 1, but going into the Senna S's, once again, Colin Winslow holding on to that top spot.
Colin's probably going to have the widest Porsche you've ever seen, because I want to see how aggressive he's going to be here, because we've seen, you know, from time to time here, Colin be in the lead early in the race, and Craig will get around him, and then Colin just doesn't have much in the second half of the race to try to get back around Craig. He's had a couple chances here and there, but it usually ends in the favor of Craig. So is Colin going to adjust some of his driving here, as we kind of seen there, into turn 1? A little more defensive, a little more wider, because, I mean, Craig's already got 3 wins on the season here. He's got to kind of put a stop to that if he wants to get back into this points battle.
Well, if you're just tuning in now and you're wondering what's going on, you're looking for your favorite driver, we got a lot of bigger names at the back of this field right now. John Nobier sitting way back in 28th place overall. Bryce Reiner in 29th overall. They're the last 2 in the pro class, and Jim Herrick had a rough start to this race after starting in P3. He's way back there in 31st overall. And Mr. Jim Dutton, obviously he got spun out in that first corner, but had some more issues, and he is currently dead last and not on the track right now in 33rd. So not going to see Mr. Jim Dutton up here for 3 straight podium interviews. It's going to be someone else out here tonight, and right now, just some good old battling with this 19-3 once again. And as usual, the man right behind him just watching it and just waiting, just like he always does, is that number 8 of Siviani Madrigal. We'll hop on board here with Siviani and show you what this infield looks like and how flowy it is.
Look at that right there. I would get lost. There's no way I'd make that braking zone. I mean, eventually you get used to it, but that view is distracting.
It's like a moth drawn to the light, Joe. You see that skyline in the background, like, it looks so nice.
Yeah.
You just got driving straight until you get the tire barrier.
Yeah.
I mean, you see through the middle part of this infield here, it is slow, but you can kind of get a sense for the flow. It's just back and forth. There's really nothing at all straight about this infield section. Yeah, they're straight, but you see, you're not really going straight. You're always constantly looking to set up that next corner. A little bit of a straight right here heading into turn number 12. You can really go far to the outside right there to set up the entry into 12. I didn't see any of these drivers do that, but this from here, from turn 12 all the way through, you got a little kink there, second little kink, and then one more kink as it's right by the pit entrance, which we did talk about as well. This is a very, very fast pit entrance, and wow, that was a late decision there for Craig. And it's just a straight entry into the pits, and you see that the kind of speeds they're humming down that front stretch. You want to try and get in the pit road as fast as possible, but if you lock up at all, you miss that entry just a little bit, you could be sliding in and getting a 40-second time penalty. So you really got to be smart. You want to get everything you can, but you know that tenth or two that you could save by getting in there, you know, and nailing it exactly. You miss it by just a smidge, and you're costing yourself 40 seconds.
Yeah, they have to come down to 50 miles an hour from 150 or whatever they're going to be traveling through there. I mean, it's so much to be gained and lost right there. I mean, just massive time. Now, we've kind of talked to these guys after some of these races, and some of them have chose tires from time to time. Are you thinking rights here? I mean, is that going to be almost a necessity?
I don't think so. again, I think that the race is short enough that you shouldn't be looking to take tires. I mean, you can take right side tires while you're fueling up the car. I would not. I don't think I would. Because of how kind of back and forth and flowy that infield is. It's going to feel nice, you know, making those left-hand turns or those fresh rights, but it's just going to feel, I think, a little wonky when you're going to the right with just 2 fresh tires. So I personally would not. I would stay away from it as Jansen makes another move right there. And we've seen him now multiple times go side by side going into turn number 1 here. This time he is going to stay on the outside and fight with Winslow, but a lot of respect between these drivers, gives him plenty of room. But now Madrigal has been watching this fight for quite some time, and now, you know what, he wants to throw some punches himself. Side by side, heading down into turn number 4, but he's going to back out of it possibly. No, but he is going to stay in there to the inside, side by side. Jansen goes a bit wide right there, comes back on track, almost makes contact with the 8. And this is exactly what Colin Winslow wants to see, and a bit of a touch there. I'm not sure if Craig realized he was still out there. That could have been really bad for both of these drivers.
What a great piece of driving by both of them to realize that. I think there was a little bit of net code there, but to realize they were touching and to immediately get off of each other. Wow, that could have been disastrous for both drivers.
Branson here for Nick Russell. Just catching some grass there in turn 1. And then turn 2, and loops it around here into the wall again, and that's not going to be good for that McLaren right there. And it's looks like he's still out there driving. Maybe the bumper got reattached there, but it's definitely not going to handle the way it should be. But back up here to the battle, and Colin Winslow checking out now a little bit. 1.5 seconds because of this little battle between 2nd and 3rd. Madrigal still right there, and now he's getting a bit of a run. There's a little fake to the inside into 1. Jansen going to hold on for now, and you see right there Marco Ciccone and Chris Hamilton right there as well. The top 5 covered by only just less than 3 seconds at this point.
Yeah, top 5's getting tight here. I mean, Colin's kind of got a little bit of a lead here, but that opened the door for Marco and Chris Hamilton to kind of get their number into the hat here for the win tonight or a podium.
Over in the M class, your leader right here, Nicholas Cope, going a bit wide right there, and he kind of leads this second pack, as you see on the track map right there. The leaders slowly catching up to the lap traffic in the back, but this is kind of a bunch up right here. And I'm not sure if Cote is holding up these pro class drivers, but he's got, I believe, 8 cars in between him. He's running 6th place overall right now as Nicholas Cote, but he's got 8 pro class drivers right behind him, hounding him, trying to get around. You see, just 4 right now, so it's kind of separated now a little bit. But I'm not sure if he's driving smoothly, if he's holding these guys up, or what the case is. But I mean, it's a good run right now for Nicholas Cote. 6th place overall, 8 cars in between him and 2nd place Randy Ayers right now. I mean, this is a dream start for the 17.
Yeah, I mean, he's got all kinds of cars between him and 1st and 2nd, and on top of that, a 15-second lead, and we're 18 minutes, almost 20 minutes into this race. I mean, man, you never really want to let people go, but we've seen what happened last week with Randy Ayers and Chris Hamilton. Randy was leading the AM class at that time. I mean, I don't know if, like you said, if he's kind of leading these guys or if he's in the way or what's happening, but if he is holding these guys up, I mean, I always lean on the conservative side.
I mean, he's running respectable laps right now. I mean, a 34.29, and now it looks like, yeah, he is finally going to pull over. He's going to let 1 by, and that was a questionable move right there. Yeah, got to get a little shot there. As Dan was not happy about that move to get back in line. I mean, it's now side by side behind him. He's really in the hornet's nest right now.
Yeah, this is what you kind of want to avoid, right? I mean,
especially with the size lead that he's got. I mean, he's got over a lap right now that he's gained on 2nd place. So he's got a big enough cushion that he can just, you know, fall behind these guys, maybe save a little fuel as well, and not have to worry about him. And like I said before, he was running some good lap times, low 34s right now, which is not too far off. But yeah, you don't want to get in the mix here and now. Right now, he's holding up Steve Brown here a little bit. He's got Devin Young hounding him. And
And
yeah,
also, he was in 6th right there, right? You know,
Yeah.
and who knows what happens with the leaders. And if he can come away with the top 5, I mean, as an amateur, like, that's probably was weighing in on his decisions too. So, I mean, I always lean conservative, but if I'm put in a situation where I potentially could get a top 5 as an amateur in the pro class, so, you know, is that Steve Brown?
Yeah, Steve Brown decides, you know what, I'm going to go and short pit and see if he can get ahead of him that way. As we've had a few come into the pits so far, the back half of the field from 22nd on down is coming into the pits. And Steve Brown now coming into the pits as well, but a lot of those guys that already came in on lap 1 were involved in an incident one way or another. Now the question is, I mean, you get involved in an incident on lap 1, Joe. We talked about it before. These guys can fuel up the car all the way as much as they need to once they come into the pits. They just start with not enough fuel, essentially. So those guys that came in on lap 1 that were involved in the incidents, not out of the race just yet. Your Jonathan Neals, your John Nomingers, Brendan Powell, they can still play a heavy role in the mix of this thing before this thing is over, and even Bryce Reiner, if they can just get out there, turn out some fast laps all the way through the rest of this race.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to have to, I mean, obviously going to have a clean track, so that's going to help, right? I mean, and be able to be consistent and hit laps, but you may lose a little bit of time with no draft. I don't know how much of a difference that makes, you know, and, you know, on the track
That was
with
a
yourself.
bad exit there from Winslow, and now the inside given up to Craig Jancic. What does the Porsche have to battle with the BMW down the front stretch? Does Colin tuck in here and try and get the draft and make a late move here on Craig? And Craig giving up the inside. Winslow looked for a second to go to the inside, and now he is going to fall in behind, almost gets into the behind of Craig Jancic. But Simeone Madrigal, Marcos Chacon, thinking, you know what, these guys may mix up this lap and maybe a little bit slower. Time to come into the pits.
And they're catching lap cars too. We got, see, 1, 2, 3, 4 cars ahead of them here.
Looks like, I believe it's a 196 of Jay Little in front of them right now.
And he gets off the track. There was a rule change this week. I don't know if you've seen that or not.
I did, yeah. There were a couple of rule changes. One with the start of the race, but yeah, the main one is for any drivers getting the blue and yellow flag. And for those that don't know, it's a blue flag with a yellow stripe going diagonal across it. That's given to lap cars, given to cars that have the leaders coming up on them, or cars that are ahead of them in the racing order and come around to lap them. It's meant to let them know as a warning, you know, like, hey, we got some faster cars coming up here. Use some caution, and typically that's it. But I think because of so many incidents happening throughout the season so far, they've decided to go one step further and let them know that once you get the blue and yellow flag, you need to take some action at the first opportunity to allow those faster cars to get around you.
Yeah, and just to kind of, I mean, there's been a couple incidents, and it's kind of cost some guys some wins and quite a bit of points, but I mean, nothing of it was, you know, malicious or intentional, but just to kind of make that process go smoother, I think, at least for the time being. Devin Young.
Here from Devin Young, looking to the inside of Dan Marrero, and gets the elbows out, and Marrero is not taking no for an answer and just holds his line. And not sure if that was Young kind of drifting out and hooking himself, or if that was Marrero just not giving him the room going into turn 1. But man, the hits just keep on coming for these drivers up towards the front. Marrero was I like it. He's a little feisty here tonight, and I think he's had enough go on throughout his CSRL career. That I'm not saying anything was malicious or anything like that, but he's probably tired of just being a pushover at times, and he was going to fight for that position one way or another. And now Devin Young has got to reel himself back in, try and reel these guys in, as he's lost some time there. Now Skylar Vickroy is trying to fend off the charge from Tyler Torville, who's having a good race here in 9th place currently. But we're still waiting for quite a few of these drivers to come in the pits. Simeone Madrigal and Marcos Chacon did make their pit stops, and Simeone was able to get out and stay ahead of Chacon on the pit cycle here. Looks like Steve Brown also pit from the Pro Class on lap number 13. But we still got Nicholas Coate leading in the M Class by quite a margin, 19 seconds this time by on Randy Ayers. tires.
I got AJ Roderick up to 4th there as well in the Mustang.
There's a couple Mustangs out here tonight. There's a ton, as you see, a ton of red right there. A ton of McLarens in the field here tonight. It is still a favorite car for a lot of these drivers. It did get hit with the the iRacing BOP to kind of wrangle it in here a little bit, make it a little bit more lifelike and not as crazy faster than every other GT car out there. But it still handles well. And sometimes, I've talked about it with my team. You're always looking at and waiting for the balance of power to come out for endurance races, for the 12 and 24-hour races, and then some teams decide to change cars. It doesn't come out until about a week before the race, but sometimes it's enough that drivers and teams consider changing cars before the event, and they might have been planning on running the Ferrari, and all of a sudden the Ferrari gets hit hard, so they'll end up running the Beamer or what have you. But I mean, really, you just need to find a car that you're comfortable with, a car that you feel that you can run well in, and if you're practicing lap after lap after lap in the McLaren, just stick with the McLaren, even if it gets hit hard, because ultimately, if you're in a car that gets hit the most on the BOP, means you have the fastest car to begin with. So you probably want to stick with that car, and at the very least, that car getting hit with a loss of power or things like that, it's going to make it slower. It's just going to make it easier to handle. So, I mean, there's so many different ways to look at it. But yeah, you mentioned pit road, top 3 into pit road, Winslow, Jancic, and Hamilton. So that's going to give that lead over to AJ Roderick, as he is yet to come into the pits right now. The top 8 have yet to come in, and look at who's come out in front. It is Greg Jancic over Colin Winslow, but how about Sibiani Madrigal coming through the Senna S's, catching right back up with this crew. Marco Chacon right behind him. So pit cycle, I mean, the short pit did really nothing for any of these guys, as we come right back out. 3 laps difference in pit stops, but Craig Jancic, Colin Winslow, Sibiani Madrigal, Marco Chacon, and Chris Hamilton are still going to end up cycling out at your top 5.
Yeah, if they're going to gain any kind of time on them, now is the chance to do it, right? This first lap, because their tires are already warmed up and ready to go. And these guys coming out of the pits, there you go. Sibiani going into Colin there, getting a little close. Looked like he was going to try to make a move right there, but wasn't quite enough.
You seen Chris Hamilton down the straightaway there, just weaving back and forth, going into turn number 5 to try and get those tires heated up as quick as possible so he can get up here in the mix and not lose too much time. He is the one in this top 5 that essentially has pitted last. He pitted on lap number 17, the 2 in front of him pitted on lap number 14, so they're already warmed up. But big bobble there from Marco Chacon is going to give the inside to Hamilton, and Hamilton says thank you very much, and is going to set his sights now on Sibiani Madrigal. Moves himself into 4th. Tyler Torgal now into the pits. AJ Roderick continues on to lead here, and about Nicholas Cote right now. The guys that are 1st and 2nd overall are 1st and 2nd in their respective classes. Nicholas Cote running in 2nd place overall. Granted, he still has to come into the pits, but it's got to feel pretty cool that just to be up this high into the podium positions overall, as Dan Morera he's a big feisty here tonight.
And that's a pass for a 2nd. Dan Morera.
You see, he's not too far behind AJ Roderick as well.
The vibe has changed in the 404 camp, right? I mean, wow.
If we haven't done so yet, make sure Dan Morera does have a stream that he puts up and goes over the races, and it's definitely it's usually worth a few good laughs for sure. It's definitely worth checking out. But man, this is a different Dan Morera that we've seen in quite some time, and I mean, maybe it's Jim Herrick in his ear as well, and complaining and not happy about the start that he had after starting in 3rd place overall. He is currently sitting back in 12th place in the amateur class, but 29th overall. So I'm sure he's not happy and letting Dan Morera know. But now AJ Roderick into the pits. So Dan Morera is your new race leader, but Nicholas Cote would love to get up there and mix it up and just you know, as an amateur driver, just say that he's led a lap as an amateur driver. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, he's got some, obviously really fast here, right? So got some speed, and then try to take advantage of that when you're fast on those fast nights. Do everything that you can. And it's, you know, try to jump back to Dan here real quick. That's something that I've gathered with some of these really, really good road racers is, and in road racing in general, you have to be aggressive, I believe. You can't, there's just not much time to show patience. I mean, obviously there's times and situations where you have to and you need to, but when you're running up front, or if you want to run up front, you have to turn that aggressiveness up. Like your driving styles, guys trying to get around you, stuff like that. You have to be way more aggressive than I am right now, or comfortable with. I mean, obviously, I you know, always kind of like there's levels to this stuff, and you know, be fast, inconsistent, and then you know the pit road stuff. But whatever, like the aggressiveness is on that chart as well, is to turn it up. And I've kind of seen that from, you know, these guys racing and broadcasting this league, and then just some other stuff that my own racing that I've done in core and other things like that. But you have to turn that aggressiveness up. And he is going to lead a lap. Look at that.
Nicholas Cote is still out there, is going to lead a lap here. And yeah, I mean, like you mentioned, there's a time when you feel like you're vibing with the track and you don't want to give up any kind of track position. And sometimes you got to get the elbows out and really just get aggressive out there. I'm not saying that there's a big difference. It may not look like it on track, but there's a big difference between aggressive and dirty. And it's knowing your fellow competitors out here and kind of how much you can push, because there's some guys that you need to, you know, kind of let them know that you want to keep that position and they'll back off. There's other guys that will race you hard and they'll get their elbows out as well. And then there's others that you know you can go just a little bit harder to try and defend, because they have, you know, enough racecraft to be able to race hard against. It's just everyone is different, and that's what, to me, always has made league racing where it's at. I mean, oh no, Nicholas Cote spins it sideways. I mean, he's got plenty of a lead that he can survive this little spin right here, but you get to run around the same guys week in and week out. And I know, you know, once you get into, you know, kind of the upper tiers in the officials and you have some high ratings, you're probably running around the same guys week in and week out. But you know, in leagues here, you get to know each other, and you know, for better or worse sometimes, but you get to know each other's driving styles.
When is, okay, never mind.
Nicholas Cote, I would think, is probably going to come in this time, and yeah, there we go, coming into the pits. You see him blowing up. Plenty of time here. Does not want to get any kind of penalty. He's got a nice lead. Doesn't got a 40-second lead, so he wants to keep it nice and tight here. But speaking of nice and tight, battle for the lead. Greg Jancic looked like he was going to try and stretch out a little bit before the pit stop cycle, but Winslow right back on his bumper once again, and once again, it's funny. We've seen these two battles so much and so many times. It's been this man right here just sitting back and just, I picture him in the car, even though he's got both hands on the wheel, just you know, kind of tapping his fingers, just waiting and just waiting for something to happen, waiting for his opportunity. I just feel like he's back there, good.
Yeah, these right here were 1, 2, 3 at Indy. I mean, that's and a lot of last season, right? I mean, it was these three guys. Sibiani was able to get a win. I think all three of them ended up getting a win at one point.
Yeah, last season was certainly a better season than what Sibiani Madrigal has dealt with so far this season. Hoping to turn around here and really having a good run here tonight, but we're all chasing the points leader right now. Craig Jancic didn't really get into the points discussion, didn't have a chance. Well, even if we did, you guys wouldn't heard it since the stream was not up in the beginning. But point standings have Craig Jancic on top of the boards by 7 points over Chris Hamilton, and then another 4 points back to Colin Winslow, another 1 point back to Devin Young, another 1 point back to Herbert Pineda for the top 5. So very close in the pro class. In the AM class, kind of the same thing. Anthony Jenkins, 7-point lead over Jim Dutton. Nicholas Cote in third. Brennan Galima, Randy Ayers, and Jim Herrick both tied for 5th place coming in here tonight. But we've seen a lot of shakeup here when it comes to the points. Right now, Nicholas Cote leading the way here, and I don't believe Anthony Jenkins not in the field here tonight, so we're gonna have to use a drop race for this one.
Yeah, that's I'm glad you got to that because I was going to bring it up at some point. So Jenkins is out for back-to-back weeks here, and we get 2 drop races. These drivers get 2 drop races, so now Jenkins has to be perfect the rest of the season, right? And it was Craig with the bobble. This was a good opportunity for Mr. Dutton to take advantage of that, I think, here tonight. But unfortunately, that's not going to be the case with him with that lap 1 incident. But it was going to be a huge opportunity for him.
Oh, huge move here by Winslow, and forces Craig to make a mistake. Goes wide, and not only did Winslow get on by, but here comes Siviani Madrigal right to the back bumper of the 3. Going to drift out a little bit, try and get a draft, and now dives to the inside, but Craig blocks him off. That McLaren has got some speed. He's going to look for an opportunity still. All 3 of them drafting, and now 3 wide. Madrigal backs out of it. But look at this, Craig Jansick fighting hard once again, and that's going to open up the outside, and there it is. We have our incident that we looked like we were going to have before, but Craig Jansick goes sideways. Luckily, there's a gap of cars he can get back turned around to stay in 5th place.
I think he's okay.
I don't see any kind of contact with that, but that is going to bring Chris Hamilton now up into 2nd place. We'll take a look at that incident one more time and show you what happened. And right there, Madrigal goes to the outside, seeing the opportunity because Jansick was hanging to the inside. And, man, I think some Netco was involved in that one as well.
Oh, wow.
As it looked like Madrigal was more to the inside than he was.
Yeah.
And hooks the 3.
Oh, my goodness.
Gets back live here, and Winslow now has got a 1.2-second lead over Hamilton. Siviani Madrigal in 3rd, Chacon and Jansick rounding out your top 5. Then Roderick, Herrera, Brown, Vic Roy, and Devin Young in your top 10. Over in the AM class, Nicholas Cote still leads the way and still got a sizable gap. You see it's come down quite a bit from what he was leading close to 20 seconds, but had that little bit of spin before he came into the pits, and is now down to 14 seconds, but still a good sizable lead. Brandon Potts in 2nd place, looking to try and take advantage of it. He ended up going through the grass on lap number 1, but has certainly righted the ship there in the blue McLaren, and is in 2nd place. Renan de Lima just coming into view right there, is in 3rd place in the AM class, and both him and Nicholas Cote have a chance, like you mentioned before, that Jim Dutton had that chance to really, put their foot back into this championship mix with Anthony Jenkins. These 2 guys are doing exactly what they need to do. Nicholas Cote came in to tonight in 3rd in points, only 10 points back, and then Renan de Lima was only 1 point behind him in 3rd and 4th. So they are doing fantastic. They are in podium positions right now, and even though Renan de Lima is quite a ways back in 3rd place when it comes to the battle for the win here tonight, he's 16.7 seconds behind your leader. Doesn't matter. It's still 3rd place.
And he's got a 6-second cushion on 4th place, so he's kind of in. He's 3 seconds back, so we got 5 minutes left. He could maybe push and try to get 2nd, but I think he probably just fine with a 3rd here tonight, and some momentum after his win last week. Good opportunity, like we just talked about, for the points day. Come in. Some races you just need a points day, right? Like you always want to show up to the track and win, but in some situations where it's maybe not your best track, or you didn't, have speed that day, or for whatever reason, points day.
Yeah, there's times where you get to a track and you just straight up don't feel comfortable with the track, and that can still mean you have speed, but there's sometimes you just don't feel comfortable. There's other times where you love the track and you love everything about it, but you're just off pace. So it's days like that you need to get as many points as possible. You just need to collect points, move on to the next week, try and, you know, lick your wounds if you got any kind of damage or anything like that. As we take a look back and take a look at some of the drivers, excuse me, that were involved on some of those lap 1 incidents. John Nobinger back to 16th place in the pro class, 19th place overall, so has made it back through, you know, about half of the field. Brandon Powell doing a very good job as well, as he was involved in some early incidents, hit on lap number 1, and he is now in 6th place in the AM class, trying to run down Randy Ayers. But either way, a good bounce back to try and at least finish in 6th place. Jim Herrick, it's just been another week, another hit for the 40 team, and you got to wonder, when is it going to break? When is it going to just finally fall the way of Jim Herrick? And you feel, Joe, you feel like once it does, it's kind of going to open the floodgates a little bit. I mean, Jim Herrick has plenty of speed. He is one of the top guys in the AM class, just has not been able to show it all season for one reason or another, but you feel like once he finally gets a taste again, it's going to come back in waves.
Yeah, it's like the snowball, right? I mean, right now there's a lake on a mountain somewhere, and as soon as it gets going, it's going to be Jim. I mean, just going down the mountain and just building, getting bigger and bigger. They can just get it to start, get something to hang your hat on, a good finish, something, whatever it may be, and then he's going to be rolling.
I mean, you've seen it happen with Jim Dutton. We haven't talked to Jim Dutton, I don't think, at all since we started broadcasting CSRL, short of, you know, discussing the season at the beginning or at the end. But, you know, on the podium, we haven't talked to him. And then all of a sudden, he gets a podium, he gets the win. And then right back the next week, he's on the podium again. And it looked like he was set up for another one here tonight, qualifying in 2nd place in the AM class. But obviously, you know, got turned in turn number 1. And his day ended very quickly, going to finish dead last here on the field. But man, we've got a bit of a battle brewing here. Chris Hamilton has caught the back of Colin Winslow. Siviani Madrigal back there once again. Good. And right behind him, watching these guys just being the hunter right now, waiting for any kind of move to happen. Marcus Chacon right there as well. Lost a little bit of time through the section right there, but he's still right there, ready to pounce. Craig Jancic, unfortunately, is back about 9 seconds from this field. And he has got a long way to catch back up and wants to get back in this mix. But Chris Hamilton fancies himself a chance at a win here tonight.
Yeah, he opened the season with the win at Monza and backed it up with a 3rd. He's got 2 3rds. He had 3rd last week. But he's got an opportunity here to gain a little bit of points on Craig.
I feel like it's been a while that we've seen this many different manufacturers do well. I mean, right now in the top 5 in the pro class, we got 2 McLarens, but we also got a Porsche, we got a Ford, we got a BMW. Leader in the AM class right now is in a Ferrari, so it's good to see a lot more manufacturers not just being represented, but doing well out there. So right now it is the Porsche leading everything now.
And leave it to Craig to drive the lone BMW and to be leading, you know, a significant amount of this race and qualify up front. I mean, just...
I feel like that had to be discussed. Like, listen, Craig, you can take an EOL, you can start from the pits, or you can drive the BMW. All right, I'll drive the BMW. He is literally the lone BMW out there. There's a few Lamborghinis out there, a few Porsches, a few Fords, obviously quite a bit of McLarens. We got three Ferraris actually running back to back right now, 10th, 11th, and 12th overall, with Devin Young, Tyler Torville, and Nicholas Cote. But yeah, the lone BMW for Craig Jancic. But at the front here, Colin Winslow still leads, but Chris Hamilton right there. Marcus Chacon falling off the back of the field here just a little bit. It's a 3-car breakaway right now.
This will be the white flag. Yeah, there it is. There's Barney. Hey, we actually seen him this week.
And he is awake. He is awake and alive. A bit of a bobble there from Chris Hamilton, but it may work out. He gets a good entry into turn number 1, but he's got to get the rotation out of turn number 3 to set him down this long straightaway. And what could be one of the final passing opportunities heading into turn number 4, unless Winslow makes a bobble. And man, yeah, I wasn't even realizing we were this deep into the race. All of a sudden, the white flag comes out, but this is the battle for 1st, 2nd, and 3rd overall. Hamilton gets a rough run through 4, 5, and 6 there. Now here comes a move by Siviani to the outside, trying to go the long way around. Not going to happen just yet. Hamilton closes the door. To the inside he looks. Hamilton will give him that so he can have the inside for the hairpin here. And this little battle is just exactly what Winslow wants to see.
Yeah, Chris has got to set this up right now to make this on that last straightaway here. He's got to be close enough to be able to get a run. To maybe try to pass him at the line.
Coming through turn number 11 right now, and he's got to set him up perfectly here. Now into turn number 12. And he needed a bobble from Winslow, and it's not gonna happen. Colin Winslow didn't have to deal with Craig Jancic for the second half of this race after the tangle with Silvani Madrigal, so he's able to hold off the rest of the field, who were certainly charging. But the 19 is back in victory lane. Colin Winslow, your winner here at Interlagos. Chris Hamilton finishing it in second. Silvani Madrigal in third. The top three covered by a second. Marco Chacon, a good job finishing in fourth place. Craig Jackson, that crossing in fifth. So we'll take a look over here at your AM class leader, and unfortunately for Nicholas Cope, that little bit of a bobble cost him a top 10 overall, but still going to be your winner in the AM class. Brandon Potts now coming out of turn number 13 down the front stretch. In a good run for Brandon Potts. Feels like it's been a while since we've seen a good extended run from Brandon Potts, and have a couple of good finishes in a row. So good to see the 25 back on the podium, and then Renan de Lima backing it up here once again. Another podium for him, and getting hot right here in the middle of the season, right what he needs to do to try and get back in this points battle. Randy Ayers going to come around, going to finish in fourth, so good finish for the 66, and then Jason Potts going to found himself in the top 5 here for the AM class. Joe, I mean, you talked about the sights here at Interlagos, and we got to watch one heck of a battle all race long.
Yeah, we did. I was excited to see a race here because I thought it was a nice little track, fun, very scenic, and all that. And of course, these guys did not disappoint, right? I mean, they put on a show everywhere we go, and it had a little bit of drama there at the end, and maybe a chance for a last lap pass, but Colin was able to hold him off, and it gave us plenty to talk about. Like you said, the light was out before we knew it. I mean, it was there. We didn't even get a chance to do a love to hear it segment. I mean, it just storylines were throughout this entire race.
What's great is, I mean, you have a 45-minute race, and in terms of endurance racing and GT racing, 45 minutes is nothing. It's not even a full stint in terms of like a 12 or a 24-hour race. But what it is it's a chance for all these drivers to stay close to each other. And after 45 minutes, top 3 separated by less than a second, and even the top 4 separated by 2 seconds. It's fantastic. It's what you want to see. You want to see battles all the way through as a league, and to show you that there's multiple guys with a chance to win every single week. And that's what we've been having here so far, as Colin Winslow gets his first win of the season. And I think the only thing that's sad about that is less of a chance for him to join us back up in the booth anytime soon. Well, for his sake, though, he gets to join us probably for what he'd rather be doing, and joining us for some interviews after this race. And we'll get these boys all gathered up and ready for an interview. But take a look at the schedule looking forward here, as this is going to complete the first half of the season. This was race number 5 in the 10-race schedule. There's technically 11 races, as the 11th race is going to be the 2-hour team race, and not going to count towards the individual points at all. So this is going to complete the first half of the season. Next week we head to the circuit Gilles Villeneuve, and going to be a chance of rain, 20 to 40% chance of rain in the forecast right now. So maybe get your umbrellas and get ready for some rough racing. I mean, it's not, I don't know if it's really considered a street circuit, but it races like a street circuit at times. Red Bull Ring coming up after that to complete October, and then your races in November are going to be Watkins Glen, Fuji, and then Sebring to finish out the regular season, with the team race 2-hour finale going to be at Daytona. Man, it's been a great first half of the season so far. I'm certainly looking forward to the rest of it here, but it's time to get some boys in here and get their due interviews for sure. So looks like we'll go ahead and start with the Pro class since they're all queued up and ready to go here. And we'll start with I mean, I know Joe, I know you've had several nicknames for him up to this point, but I feel like we just lost him. Where the heck did he go? I thought we had him in here, and I don't see him. So I guess we're not going to start with Siviani here. As, I thought we were going to. So we'll go ahead and switch it over to the AM class, and we'll give Siviani a chance to come back up here, and we'll start with the third place finisher here. Joe is the 82 of Renan de Lima.
Hey, Renan, you got a copy?
Hey, what's going on?
Hey, man. Build some momentum here in these last couple of races. You get yourself a win last week, and now another podium finisher and third. Kind of talk me through your race here tonight, and how do you like this track?
So I had the privilege to see this track in person this year, back in April. I was in Brazil, and it was spectacular, and I think this is the first time I'm running it in the sim.
Does this like I said it several times, this is probably the most scenic track that I've ever seen, I guess on the iRacing or pictures of or whatever, getting to all these, these road courses and everything, but is it that awesome in person?
No, it's interesting. So it's literally smack dab in the middle of the city. So like it's just very odd because picture New York City and then you have a big racetrack smack dab in the middle. And it's amazing it works because of the noise and all that stuff. We could definitely not do that here because, everyone would complain. But it works out there. And, it must be in the blood, But the race was good, man. It felt good out there. That's all I could say. Nothing felt out of place. It just kind of connected here and there. Towards the end, I felt like I was overdriving a little bit, trying to chase Potts for the second place position. But overall, I think it was really good.
Yeah, I think we jumped onto you there about 5 minutes or so left, and you were about 2 seconds behind Brandon, but you had 6 seconds on fourth place there. I mean, was at that point where you said you were trying to push there, but were you just kind of maybe pushing but not too aggressive because you knew you had kind of third in the bag as long as you didn't do any kind of, crazy mistake?
Yeah, no, I kept that in the back of my mind. I said, you know what, it's not worth pushing too hard here and then losing, the potential third place. So let me push, but just enough where, I know that I'll be fine and I'll be cautious.
And kind of being aware of where you are in the point standings. And with no Anthony Jenkins here tonight and Dutton having his problems there on lap one, kind of opening the door for you here tonight is, just get a good finish and move on to next week type of deal.
Exactly. Take the wins as they come. And, third place is still a win for me, still puts me up there. And we'll see after the point standings where we stand.
Yeah, it's always with the drop races and everything. It gets confusing for us sometimes, but it looks like you're going to be able to take advantage of that here today. But great race, congrats on the third. Before we let you go, anybody want to give a shout out to?
Absolutely. So I'll always give a shout out to my wife, letting me do this every Wednesday. Shout out to my coworkers that might be watching. And a big shout out to Frank Bazzano. Me and him are on teams this season. First season we're doing teams, and I'm really, really, really hoping for some competitiveness on that front. And I just want to take Craig down. That's really what it's come down to. Craig and Powell, just want to take them down. You know what I mean? Yeah. Frank ended up being right ahead of me and behind me through the race, so we kind of helped each other, and it worked out good. But I really appreciate it, guys.
All righty, well, congrats, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you.
That is your third place finisher here tonight in the AM class, the 82 Renan de Lima. Second place in the AM class here tonight is going to be the 25 of Brandon Potts. And Brandon, I got to say, I need to know what you were thinking. At lap one, turn one, you're driving through the grass on the Senna S's. What were you thinking? Oh no, that this thing is going to end before it even started for me?
Yeah, basically yes, because I'm actually looking at it back right now, and I got damage there, so I tapped. I'm not sure who the black and goldish car is, but
Like it was
tapped
John
him a little
Nominger.
bit.
Yep.
Oh, John, my
Yep.
my teammate. Yeah, so I tapped him.
Even worse.
Got damage, and my spotter said, "You got damage on the front end," and I was like, "I'm not going to make it worse," and I don't know where the spun car is, so I was like, "I'll just take a slowdown," and so I just cut through.
I mean, it worked out. I can't say you did the wrong thing at that point. I mean, it worked out and you got through there, but you had to come in on lap 1. I mean, you pit on lap 1, and that was your lone pit stop for the race. So how were the tires holding up? I mean, I know it's only a 45-minute race, so you're really not getting through a full tire stint for sure. But, you know, compared to everybody else out there, you still had to run hard. You had to just put your head down from lap 1, and you found yourself in second at the end of this thing.
Oh yeah, I was basically on ice skates the last few laps. I got into Frank's draft and it made it worse. So I was like, I'm not racing Frank, so let's just let Frank go a little bit and just. So I was watching my time just to make sure I kept running behind me. But yeah, I got into that draft and I was like, oh, it's going to be okay. I should be okay. And 2 of the turns, especially going into the center S's, I couldn't get onto the curb. I just was sliding. I was like, yeah, this is not good. But yeah, it was a very interesting race. It was fun. You know, haven't talked to you guys in a while. You know,
yeah,
didn't want you to miss me too much.
Exactly. It's been a minute. And that's what I was saying. I mean, it feels like there's some guys in this league here that we feel like we haven't talked to in forever, and we used to talk to you a lot. I mean, it feels like just a season or 2 ago we were talking to you almost every single week, and it's been a bit of a war of attrition here lately for you over in your camp in the 25 camp. But you slapped the bluey on the machine here this season, and I don't know, maybe you're getting just a different vibe. We've seen that car just a little bit more this season, but you finally cracked through for your first podium in quite some time.
Yeah, definitely. It's I threw it on there. We're expecting next week, so I won't be here next week because we will be in the hospital. But
congrats, buddy. Congrats.
Yeah, thank you. So it's just it's been I haven't had as much time in the rig, but what I've been trying to do is when I do get some time, I've been trying to really just work on like my basics again. So even if I don't practice like laps and laps or whatever, like I'll practice my braking, I'll practice like the turn-ins and things like that. I've just been trying to do that to maximize like just keeping my basics essentially. But yeah, I've had a good week. I had like my 2 highest game series bowling this weekend. I had a good race today. I'm having a good week right now.
As a fellow bowler, I got to ask what the series were.
4-game series, I hit my first 800 series. I hit an 829, and in my 3-game series, the next game was my first 600 series. I hit a 611.
Congrats, buddy. Congrats.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yes.
It's that kid on the way.
So.
It's that kid on the way. Your body's trying to get those good games in while you still can. just giving you a little hint there. I got 2 kids, and I'm not bowling this season, but yeah, it's just a hint of things to come. But yeah, I mean, congrats on obviously the baby on the way, but a great run out here tonight, and I mean halfway through the season now. And you came into the race here tonight, 6th place in points, but it should be moving up at least into the top 5. How do you feel the first half has gone, and what's your outlook on the second half?
Pretty good first half. I had a couple of slips here and there, and then some of it was just flat out. I just didn't get to practice. I just showed up. So that was okay. But I had a slips here and there. But second half, like I said, I'll be missing Canada, but I'll probably be, if I'm not Red Bull Ring, Watkins. I do like Watkins. I like Fuji. I like Sebring. Sometimes it doesn't like me, and I like Daytona. So out of those, yeah, I'm liking all of those. I hope I make a Red Bull Ring. That is one that a lot of people are familiar with, so to be really, really competitive. But the rest of the series are all tracks that I like and that I'm at least decent at. So I'm hoping to get some nice finishes.
Well, it takes some time, certainly this next week. And if we see you back in Red Bull Ring, great. But if not, take some time and enjoy the fatherhood there. And once again, congrats on our side. So before we let you go, what do you want to give a shout out to or thanks to?
I want to shout out first shout out to Miss. I want to shout out ZFG Racing, Phoenix Nest TV, our channel or whatever that we bowl and stuff on. And really just, you guys as well for putting on a good show. I try to watch you guys, I try to watch the stream the next day, like while I'm at work and stuff. And it's always a pleasure. And, just keep it going, keep at it. And, CSRL for the league. And, y'all just have a good one.
Listen, I know you're not going to be on the track next week, but you can just turn on CRN and watch your fellow competitors out here next week, and I'm sure it'll put you to sleep. If not, I'll put the baby to sleep as well. We'll try and keep it nice and mellow next week, just in case you're turning in. Unless there's a close battle. If there's a close battle to the end, I can't promise anything.
Exactly.
Tell that kid thank you for letting you miss that rain race.
Yeah,
exactly. He knew it was raining. He was like, "Oh yeah, let's get him out of there."
I got you.
All right, buddy. Well, congrats again on the second place. We'll let you go celebrate, and hopefully we'll see you back in 2 weeks.
All right, thank you. Have a great one.
You too, buddy. That is your second place finisher here tonight. The 25 of Brandon Potts in the M class. Winner tonight in the M class. Put on a heck of a performance. And Joe, it's going to be the 17 of Nicholas Coate.
Hey, Nicholas, you got a copy?
Yeah, I got you guys.
Hey, man, what a drive here tonight. You had some unbelievable speed. We did catch your spin there on when we had you live there, but still able to come away with a win here in the AM class and a pretty good finish overall. How did you manage that here tonight?
Yeah, I've just I have a lot of laps on this track from the F1 video games, so probably one of my most comfortable tracks on the schedule. And I was just trying not to make a mistake. I think I've made a mistake in every single race so far, and I made another one tonight. It was only a 6-second mistake instead of a 25-second mistake, so I'm just happy to get the win.
Now we were on you at one point. I think you may have been 6th overall at the time, and you had 4 pro class drivers right behind you, and it kind of got a little hectic there. Yeah, a little hectic there, as I think maybe we just got onto you at that point, and we didn't know if you were leading them or if they were trying to get around you or what the case was. But you had such a lead on second in the AM class at that point. Did that come into the thought process there to kind of just let them go and do it without losing as much time as possible,
Yeah, I just didn't want to get taken out. I knew I wasn't really in their race. I started 6th. I ran around there for most of the first stint. Yeah, I just didn't want to get taken out. But yeah.
Or it was maybe, hey, I'm in 6th and keeping up, and anything can happen at the front, as we've seen. Was it maybe, hey, I could maybe get a top 5 here overall? Was that entering the thought process as well?
Yeah, it was definitely on my mind. It's like, oh, top 5 overall would be great. I did stay out, I think the latest out of anyone, just to cheekily lead a couple laps as an AM class driver, but
we caught that as well. He's like, legally, I mean, an AM class guy gonna lead the race here. I mean, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, I'm just happy I was high enough up in the field to make it work.
Well, you made it work and got yourself a win here tonight, and gonna be really helpful in the points discussion, as I don't know how this is going to shake out, but I mean, you were already up there in 3rd, and with no Anthony Jenkins and Dutton having his problems, this is going to be a good opportunity for you to, I mean, obviously maybe improve on that. And we're halfway through here, so what is your thoughts potentially being the points leader heading into the second half of the season?
Being the points leader would be great. I think I got a lot of good tracks for me coming up with anything that's on the F1 schedule. I've got a lot of experience with, so hopefully I can take advantage of that. I think we're at Montreal next week, so I should be strong there. And then I saw Red Bull Ring is on the schedule too. I should be good there.
And then we got Watkins Glen, Fiji, and Sebring. So, I mean, a great opportunity here for you to make a run at this points championship.
Yeah, definitely. That's the goal: win the AM championship and then move up to pro next season.
Oh, there you go. Well, congrats on a win here tonight. Before we let you go, anybody you want to give a shout out to?
Yeah, shout out to you guys for putting on this league. Shout out to you guys for the broadcast. Everyone on Casual Sim Racing for putting on the league. And then shout out to my wife. I actually got married last week, so that's why I wasn't here.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, congratulations on that. Oh, yeah. Guys getting married, guys having babies. Man, this is a good time to be in CSRL.
I guess so.
Well, congrats on that, and we'll let you go celebrate all of that, the win and being a freshly married man.
Yeah, thanks, guys. See you guys next week.
All righty.
That is your winner here tonight in the M class, the 17 of Nicholas Cote. And man, married and racing pretty much right in the same week. That's a good marriage. That's a good wife. So shout out to Mrs. Cote for sure for letting him get out here and get this thing going.
1 week removed.
Yeah, that's a keeper. That's a keeper.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, time to switch over now to the pro class. And I mentioned before, Joe, I feel like you have so many different names for Siviani Madrigal. I feel like he's got to earn another one here, the Hunter. I feel like so many times, Siviani, you're just sitting in third, usually watching Craig and Colin go at it, which you did here tonight for quite some time. Then at the end of the race, you're watching Colin and Chris go at it, and you're sitting back there, and I could picture you in the cockpit, just tapping your fingers, licking your lips, just waiting for that opportunity. Do we have you, Siviani?
Yeah, hey guys, sorry.
There we go.
Today was a really nice race. Unfortunately, I'm really sorry with Craig. I was trying to push so hard as I can. I think today I was really close to those two guys. I know that Craig and Colin, they are really fast drivers. Well, today is a mix of feelings, right? Because I was trying to do my best race and pushing hard, trying to put some pressure on Craig. There was a couple of laps where we have some kind of contacts there, trying to push each other at the maximum. But yeah, so in that last contact that we have in the SS, it was really bad. So I thought for a second that I can have a chance to go outside with more speed. So from my cockpit view, I feel that I have my chance there. I take it. I see that little gap, and I took that decision. Unfortunately, it was maybe not the right one, but so I feel really bad for that, because we will be here, Craig, Colin, and myself maybe, or someone else. But it was a really good. It was a really good race tonight. Unfortunately, with that contact at the end in the last lap, so it was really unfortunate. But I hope that maybe the stewards can consider something on me and don't penalize myself.
I mean, it was a heck of a battle, and it's tough when you're up there. It was kind of a 5-car breakaway between you, Colin, Chris, and Craig right at the front, and you guys were the class of the field that stretching out from everybody. But all of you were just so close on pace that it took really an error from somebody to have any kind of a chance, or somebody bobble, especially coming out of turn number 12, to give you an opportunity to run it all the way down the front stretch. But talk about how long the run is from turn 12 all the way down to turn 1. It's really kind of one of the few opportunities on the entire schedule all season that you really get a chance to utilize that draft and make a pass.
Oh yeah, so definitely. But the problem here tonight with the BMW is really fast in the straight, right? So in that last turn, I was trying to do my best to track to make the McLaren traction very well on that exit corner. But yeah, so even I was like a 0.4, 0.5 from Craig, I was not able to get close to him at all. And so I was trying to look for that opportunity in that turn 1. But the McLaren never gets so close in the straight speed compared with the BMW. That's something really nice in that straight. But so today the McLaren wasn't so fast.
So talk to me a little bit about something else here that you tend to deal with here from time to time, and that's the aero wash from the cars in front. I mean, again, with you guys breaking away and 5 cars kind of on top of each other in the entire race, you're sitting back there behind Colin and Craig for a while, and then at the end there you're sitting behind Chris. How tough is it to kind of have that patience and just ride along behind, waiting for somebody to make a mistake, but still hit your marks with that aero wash coming off the car in front of you?
Oh yeah, it's really mentally, right? So it's something really, really mentally that you have to put to calm down yourself, cool a little bit. But yeah, it's so hard because always feelings and driving are not always good mix, right? Of combo of mix things. But yeah, so trying to get your mind in a cool position, trying to not oversight it or trying to overtakes or trying to do something that is not necessarily the right thing to do, trying to brake later. Yeah, those are the kind of things that mentally you have to be very, very focused on the race. Even you made a mistake or you lose something. So that definitely something really, really mentally, so that we need to be very, very focused, concentrated in what we are doing, trying to not lose the car in front. Also trying to be focused in our break points, right? Because if you just follow the car in front of you, that definitely you will lose all your brake zones, and that will not be able to catch anyone, right? So you have to be very, very careful, very, very mentally, very focused on the race, and especially with all your marks on the track and not following the car in front of you, but also being able to maintain your pace.
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, it just, if you're on the outside looking in, or you're up in the booth and looking in, it just looks like, everybody's okay. Everybody's running the same pace. Everybody's doing the exact same thing. But when you're the guy following, as compared to the guy that's in the lead, it's really a completely different race for you. You're like you said, you're using different braking points, maybe different turn-in points, and you really have to adjust your entire line as the guy following. But you did a fantastic job here tonight. You come into tonight in a 3-way tie for 6th place in the points, and now the first half of the season is complete. Should be seeing you up there in the top 5 heading into the second half of the season. So what do we have in store? I mean, do you think you still have a chance to make a run at it? I mean, obviously Craig is tough at the top, and you got Chris Hamilton and Colin Winslow still in front of you as well. But Colin and Craig have been running pretty close to each other, and it just takes one little bobble from both of them, and you can capitalize on some points.
Yeah, no, that definitely will be so hard. So I'm trying to do my best, to try to be close to them. But so definitely will be a really hard work on my side. I hopefully maybe someone else, not me, just puts Craig and Colin in the next races. That I can capitalize more points. But so in a race, we'll have to go one race at a time to see what will be my opportunities, and see if I have chances to get there. But I see it that it will be very, very difficult, honestly. Because so Craig and Colin, they are very, very fast, and so getting for the championship position, it will be really tough. But so I will try to keep there behind them at least. So trying to capitalize as much points I can. So we will see what happens in the next races.
Well, I know you're definitely going to do your best, and you'll be the hunter, I'm sure, more and more times for the rest of the season, and we'll see if you can finally catch your prey and get that first win of the season. So congrats on the run here tonight on the podium. Who do you want to give a shout out to or thanks to?
I don't know, to you guys, for all the guys for make this league possible every Wednesday. This amazing broadcast. Also to my family, wife, my daughter, that always willing to allow me to make the races every Wednesday. So I really thanks to everybody, and thanks all the people here in the league, drivers, admins, everyone. Thank you very much.
All right, buddy. Well, take some time and celebrate this podium. We'll see you next week at Circuit Gio Villeneuve.
All right. Thank you. Bye.
That is your third place finisher in the pro class, the 8 of Siviani Madrigal, second place tonight. And I guess, if you know him, if you know his core career for sure, not surprised. But Joe, a second place here for Chris Hamilton.
Hey, Chris, you got a copy?
That's why they called me the bridesmaid.
Who better than Chris to finish second? Yeah, so another podium here tonight. A good points night. Didn't quite have enough for Colin. You thought you may have something there on that last lap. What more did you need to maybe possibly get around him there at the end?
Truthfully, I don't know. This second was surprising to me. I think it was kind of gifted to me, if I'm honest. Just kind of right place, right time.
Yeah, you were definitely the benefactor of the contact there with Craig and Siviani. You were running fourth there at the time, and just happened to avoid all of that and get around him there. But you had a chance there to run down Colin. I mean, well, you did run him down there. So it's not for lack of you didn't have the speed. I mean, you clearly had the speed there at the end. So another good, like I said, good points night. So just one quick question. What does it, I kind of like this track. It's covered there in the beginning of the race. Really nice track, really scenic track. Tell me one thing that you kind of need to get around here fast.
Other than bravery, it would be not trying not to ride the ABS. These GT3 cars are very sensitive to when you're riding the ABS, and there are strengths and weaknesses to all the cars that are up at the front. Truthfully, when I was just kind of sitting there in fifth, I was like losing time, and I was just like, what am I doing? I don't have the sprint pace of the other guys. I really don't. Just maximizing what I can do that I can control, such as staying out of trouble, managing my tires. I took tires there at the end, so I think it kind of turned around in my favor because Colin said he was running out of tires. But well, if he did a very, very good defensive line, but yeah, just trying not to use the assist even though they're there.
So I mean, and just kind of watching this race and looking at the track, it's kind of, it's got the big long straightaway, with a couple kinks or whatever, but you're pretty much wide open there, and then much of the track isn't too much other than until you get to the infield part of it. Is that kind of how you race it, where it's kind of just broken up into those two parts, or do you break it up into thirds, or how do you kind of just manage the track and manage your maybe your passing spots?
Crew Chief kind of separates all the tracks into 3 sectors. So you can kind of think about it that way, where but you got to think about each and every single one of those turns, because they're not going to have the same braking pressure as if you look at some telemetry data, because you're braking slightly different than into turn 1 than you are into like turn 5 when the hairpin starts.
Yeah, it's nice and flowy on that infield, but like you said, they're all different, right? I mean, it's not like you go down and come back the same way. It's in the same turn, like some of the other tracks on the circuit. But good race here tonight. You get a second, good points night. Before we let you go, anybody want to give a shout out to?
Huge shout out to Parks de la Cruz for the 212 racing paint. Sorry, Carl, I was a little slow on getting the McLaren one. If I run the McLaren again, I'll run the core, I promise. You can hold me that 212.
I'll allow it this time.
Thanks to the other guys that made this racing. They are crazy fast. I don't know where to find half a second. Quite frankly, I'm still searching. Not all the money in the world can find it. It's somewhere with me. I don't know where it's at. I gotta find it. And thank you guys for the broadcast.
All right, we'll let you go celebrate, and we'll see you next week.
Appreciate it, guys.
That is your second place finisher here tonight. Chris Hamilton in the number 20. Finally, I think we gave him maybe enough time to catch his breath, to let the heart rate calm down a little bit. Colin, you get the win here tonight, but man, it was not easy.
No, it was not easy. The Porsche's as always, so rough on the front tires. I unfortunately didn't have time to test any cars this week, so I just went with the old reliable, which reliable was arguable, but yeah, the Porsche was just so rough on the front tires. I felt like had that race been 3 or 4 more laps, I definitely would have been looking at maybe 3rd, 4th, 5th. I don't know.
Well, you did everything but make friends with the front stretch wall, the pit wall coming down the front stretch, trying to hold off Craig multiple times, and even at the end trying to hold off Chris and everybody else. I mean, the inside line seemed to be, you had to really protect it into turn number 1. I mean, it's chicane, so you still have to be fast, even though you're protecting that inside line, or you're going to be on the outside for turn number 2 and then back to the inside. I mean, this track is just, it's so flowy back and forth, but it seemed like the draft was huge here tonight.
Yeah, a lot of it's the draft. A lot of it is the Porsche is also slow on the straights. I mean, what's good about the Porsche at this point?
It wins. It wins. It wins,
yeah,
right?
I mean, yeah. So
Man, you're really not doing a good job here, Colin.
Yeah.
I gotta be honest.
no, it's more so that, you know, the Porsche is slow on the straights. It definitely wears the front tires, but those are probably the only two negatives. I mean, the Porsche is so good under braking, and to be able to get it rotated and not lose traction, it does so well, and that's why I was able to. I mean, if it wasn't for the slow straight line speed, I probably wouldn't have had to go defensive that much, but that's why I was able to go defensive and keep it on the inside and keep it pinned there, because the Porsche is just, it's so good under those low traction zones.
Well, that's what surprised me looking at it, because that's how I feel exactly about the Porsche as well. I love its rotation. I love that it doesn't slip out underneath you as easily as some of the other cars out there. But this is a track that, I mean, it's kind of half and half. Half the track is just pure flat out speed, and then the other half of the track is that infield where you can kind of let that Porsche eat a little bit, and you can really try and gain some time on the field. So, I mean, it had to be hectic every time coming out of turn number 12. We did see you make that one little bobble when Craig was able to finally get around you into turn number 1. I mean, how much were you just thinking the entire time through that infield, okay, I just need to nail turn number 12?
Yeah, I mean, that's really it. It's with the Porsche, with this slow straight line speed, every time, you know, I'm not on that back straight, I have to nail every corner, because we all know that Craig doesn't make mistakes. So, you know, one little slip up for me, and that could be my race. Yeah, I mean, Craig's so consistent that I have to be, you know, on my toes every single lap, making sure that I'm getting a good exit, because I know he's at least going to be alongside me by turn 1. It's just, if I at least get a good exit, I can hold him off. If I have that one little slip, like you guys saw, he's going to get right by me.
Well, listen, first half of the season is over. You come into this one in second in points. Obviously, you spent one of the races up here in the booth with us, but looking at the second half of the season now, I mean, it maybe took a little confrontation there between Siviani and Craig to help you get this win here tonight, but you certainly worked for it, and you had the speed. You were up there the entire night. You were not giving up at all, and you found your way to the win. What kind of tracks are you looking forward to in the second half to maybe grab another one here?
Honestly, everything except Fuji. I do really like the way the second half of the season looks, and yeah, who knows what kind of race it would have been if Siv and Craig didn't have that unfortunate contact. I think they were both better on tires than I was. So yeah, that could have completely changed the race. But yeah, second half of the season looks like a lot of fun. So.
Well, you had plenty of your fan base out there cheering you on and congratulating you on the wins here. Gianna, Barry, Jerry, all out there saying congrats on the win, and congrats from us here in the CRN booth for getting it done here. And I mean, you put it on the pole and you got the win, but it looks as easy on paper as that. Just go fast, put it on the pole, and get the win. But man, if you look at all that meat in the middle, it was not exactly easy here tonight. So congrats on holding everybody else off here tonight, grabbing that win. Who do you want to give a shout out to or thanks to?
Appreciate it, boys. Yeah, shout out to my girlfriend Kaylee. Special shout out to my nephew Easton. I think he's watching tonight. My buddy Miller and my buddy Kyle, I think they're both watching. And obviously shout out to you guys, and then shout out to everybody in this league. I say it every time I'm in here, but the racing is always phenomenal. It's always so good, and this is probably one of, every driver that I'm racing against it's always such respectable racing, and I appreciate that. So, and the fact that it's this close, what was the gap between the top 3 or 4 or 5? It was like not more than 10 seconds, so that's incredible.
Yeah, I mean, 1 second separating the top 3, 2 separating the top 4, and yeah, even the top 5 separated by 10 seconds. So, and that's how it was the entire race. The top 5 was not separated by much at all. Certainly less than 10 seconds the entire time. So, you got it done. You got your win here tonight. So we'll let you go celebrate, and we'll see you next week at a possible rainy Circuit Joe Villeneuve.
I appreciate it, boys. Y'all have a good night.
You too, buddy. That's your winner here tonight, overall and in the pro class, the 19 of Colin Winslow. Joe, I'll turn to you first. Final thoughts here from Interlagos.
Man, wow. Great racing. Love this track. I'm actually really excited to after the next race to get some more laps in here tonight. I was kind of just teased myself before because I had to download this track, purchase this track and download it, and then I got like 3 or 4 laps in, and it wasn't enough. I need to get some more laps in. So excited for that, and what a another great race here tonight with these boys.
So I guess with Interlagos, instead of the first taste is free, the first lap is free. To get you hooked right now. And yeah, it's like I said, it's a great track, and I'm kind of like right on the same lines as Nicholas Cote. I've turned a bunch of laps here in F1 games and in other games, and even here on iRacing. It's a track that I like. I enjoy. I may not be the fastest out there, but it's a track that again it takes a lot of flow, and one thing leads to another on this track, especially on that infield. So it's a fun one to watch here tonight, and once again, like usual, just great battling out there. The top 5 in the pro class separating themselves and just going at it. And it was some really good drafting, attempts at passes, and even through the pit stops. Typically, the pit stops, kind of separate everybody a little bit, but 2 guys came in on lap 14, the other 3 came in on lap 17, and they all came back out right in line again. And it's great. We love to see it. Want to send a thank you out to everybody that tuned in here tonight. If you haven't done so yet, hit that like and subscribe. We'll get over to our sponsor, Reed, and we're going to thank 40 Racewear, the makers of the ultimate sim racing shoes and custom apparel designed for sim racing by sim racers. 40 sim racing shoes, custom engineered to connect racers to the pedals in a way no other racing shoe can, while still providing the comfort needed for those double and triple stints. Visit 40racewear.com and check out the latest sim racing products, including the original racing gloves for your feet. Rev up your iRacing experience with Replica Racing. They create custom liveries that make your car stand out on the track. Whether you want sleek, bold, or retro designs, their talented team delivers eye-catching, high-performance graphics tailored just for you. Make your mark and race in style with Replica Racing, where your design dreams hit the fast lane. Let's envision the future together. TTR Racing, this father and son team consists of Todd Torville in the AM class and Tyler Torville in the pro class. Just 2 guys who are here for a good time with good people and good racing. Thank you to our service members and veterans at TTR Racing. And a thank you to Martin at PC as well. That is going to do it for our broadcast of CSRL. Make sure you stay tuned here to see CRN as we got the Yes Car Truck Series coming up here and at the top of the hour. But it's been a fun one here for round number 5. First half of the season is over, but we got plenty of racing in store for this second half, I'm sure, at CSRL. I want to thank my co-host here, Joe Sullivan. I've been Carl Handwork, and it's been fun as usual, and I already can't wait till next Wednesday. But for now, we'll see you at the track.